of the series, which I haven't actually thought of a name of yet, but it's a series where I'm going to look to go and collect as much of a rare loot around WoW dungeons as possible, as indicated by my loot deck, which you can see on the screen. If this is your first video you've seen of this series, there are 2 previous videos, a video where I do an introduction to what the series is about, explain the loot deck, explain what the aims are, which is episode 1, and episode 2, which is a previous video to this, which is where I go into scholar mounts, show how to run the dungeon, and then show what the loot was after running that. So this is episode 3, or video 3, and in this video we are going to be diving into the Dungeon of Dungeons. The dungeon I suspect is going to be the bane of my life for this series anyway, which is Uldaman. And you can see I've highlighted in yellow the loot which I'm looking for on this. So in terms of the deck itself, which I've not managed to get anything from as yet, there are 9 pieces which I'm going to be looking at, with the piece which I want more than any other piece in the deck, the minus Hat of the Deep, as the Ace of Spades, and that's the one piece I really do want to collect, because that is going to be used as a transmog piece for one of my characters. So let's get into the game itself. And here we are. We are currently in Fuse Light. You can come out of the bag there. Back with Karakatchian, my Taramil Horde Druid. Now, let's show you where we are on the map, that anyone's unaware. So we're back in Eastern Kingdoms, no real surprise there, and we're in the Badlands, so just above the O of Eastern Kingdoms. So if you come down here, and then the Uldaman dungeon is just in this location. You've got an entrance for it, supposedly over there, and there's another entrance here, which is the one I'm going to show you how to use. So, again, if you're Alliance, use your Hearthstone, or get yourself over to either Ironforge or Stormwind, and then get yourself over to Badlands, which isn't particularly far. If you're Horde, you've got a couple of options. You can either go and fly from Orgrimmar and take the portal over to Undercity and then get yourself down here, which is quite long-winded. The one I think you probably should take, which will probably be a little bit quicker, is there's a Zeppelin from Orgrimmar which takes you through to Stranglethorn Valley, which is down here, and then from there it's a shorter distance just to fly up here as well. For this character, I've actually set my Hearthstone for Fuse Light, which is where I am at the moment, because it's right above the dungeon, as I suspect I'm going to be here a lot over the next few weeks or months, or even years. So let's get into Druid form, and I'll show you where we are. We've got pretty empty bags. So Fuse Light is directly behind me, and you can see the direction I've come on. So I've flown pretty much due west from there, and you can see there's a little cave entrance on the map here between Fuse Light and Duskwind Dig. That cave entrance is just below me, this little area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive down into this. Again, it doesn't really show on the map that this is the entrance to all of them, so the entrance is here, but this is an easier entrance. And then I'm going to go into here. So it's a very short wander through the tunnel, and there you are at the entrance. So what I'm going to do, very similar to the last video, as this is the first time I've got an Uldaman video on my channel, indeed, or in this series, I'm going to run through it very slowly to begin with, and show you how I run the dungeon. Now, Uldaman itself is quite big, so certainly a lot bigger than Skullmounts, and there's a lot of mobs in there, and I'll talk through as we go through what to expect. So first thing I'm going to do, once we start, and this isn't something that you need to kind of do, is take on some bear tartar. Now I've got over 100 of it sat in my bags at the moment, so I'm going to eat some of this. Again, what this does, if you're not familiar with bear tartar, is every time you kill a creature, you get a speed buff. So it just speeds things up as you're running through the dungeon. There's plenty of mobs all spaced out, so you can run through, kill some, and get a speed buff every now and again, just as you get yourself around the instance. Okay, so let's talk about Uldaman, and let's look at the potential loot that you can get, specifically the zone drops. So you can see there's 23 Uldaman specific blues in this dungeon, of which I have got 14 of them, which are annotated by the blue ticks. Some of them are very cheap, such as this one, the Adventurous Pith Helm, which is currently going on my realm for 1,000, although it's got a region market value average of 7.2. And then you've got things such as the Beacon of Hope, again only a few thousand for that one. Energy Cloak 2,500, Earthen Rod is even, that's less than 1,000 on my realm with an EU market average of 2,400. And then you've got some of the more expensive items, ones I haven't collected yet, like the Jackhammer, which is extinct on my realm, Tavern Mill, which is one of the biggest realms in EU and goes for 3.75 region market value average. The one which I want, the Miner's Hat of the Deep, there's one on my auction house at the moment going for 1.3 million. It's worth 3.69 million across EU. You've also got things such as the Digmaster, again, it's one of the rare ones, extinct, region market value average of 3/4 million. You can kind of see, now, not all the ones I need are really, really expensive. The Annealed Blade, for instance, is worth 11,000 at the moment. There's 6 of them on my auction house. It's roughly about EU market value average. And you've also got, where's the other one? The Skull Plate Bracers, which is less than 20,000. Region market value average is 27,500. So there are a couple of easily obtainable pieces in it. I just haven't come across this yet. Now, I have run this dungeon hundreds of times in the past, both on this character and other characters as well. Just never come across any of this. So let's have a look at the dungeon itself. As you can see straight off the map, it's a bit of a warren. We are not going to go and kill every single mob in this. It's just going to take too long. So what I try and look to do is get a run around about 6-7 minutes, which will give us roughly about 10 in an hour, and that way I can then just dream walk back out and dream walk back in again. For the first time showing you though, I'm going to show you, if you weren't on a druid, let's say you're running on a warrior or a hunter or something like that, how to get in and out quite efficiently. So let's start. So as soon as you come through the entrance, obviously I've took my bear tartar, I've checked that my bags are empty. Let's get Loot Appraiser running if it's not running already. It is running, so let's do a new session. That's up and running. We hook a right here. Now some of the mobs walk around, so where I'm going to see some of these sort of movable mobs may not be where you see them if you're going faster or slow, so just bear that in mind. However, around this corner there's 3, and these 3 are always going to be hovering around here. I've never seen them anywhere else. You then jump onto these stone ledges up here, and then there's a mob who pretty much always just stands there. You've got one of the movable mobs over there. He's not always there, but we'll go and kill him. We then hook a left at this point. These 2 guys basically stand around there. You've got this guy there, and you've got that guy there. So you can kill both of them and loot them at the same time. We then hook a right. Kill these 2. And then there's 3 more around there. Now if you do this quickly, there's only going to be 4. Again, one of them's just running around, so you're not always going to be finding 5 in this. So what we've effectively done is we come through the entrance, headed north, west, come south, and we've killed them. Then what we're going to do now is we're going to head over into this direction. So back the same way that we just came, we're going to hook a left here, and when we reach the end, we're going to hook another left. Again, normally at this point, you know, on a druid, I'll be using like Tiger Dash and stuff darting around, but I'm just going to take it nice and slow. So we're going to kill those 2. Now at this point, some other people may go straight ahead down into this area, dig 2 and go and kill the bosses for Lost Dwarfs and go and kill them. I'm not going to do that, and I skip that bit. My druid is not a speed druid. I don't think it's got any speed gear on him whatsoever, so there's a few areas which I probably won't go into. I'm going to kill these 3. And we come against the first boss, which is Revelash. Or Revelosh. Kill these guys, pick up the loot, then we're going to go straight through again. There's 2 guys over here, take a right, and there's 2 guys over there. And this is basically where we went a short while ago, we went in that direction. So again, we've kind of just done a little bit of a loop, and now we're going to come back to where we killed that boss, and then we're going to hook into the map chamber. Let's just dart through here. Okay, so when you get to this point, there's 2 mobs here who are in stealth. You can kind of see them now. So I kill both of those 2. I don't loot here. Then there's 2 guys here who I kill both of those 2 as well. As soon as you kill them, you get another 4 on you, and then you can kill them all at the same time. So that means you can loot 8 at the same time. At this point, I then run over in this direction, and there's 3 mobs here. 2 stealthed and 1 standing visible. I can loot all of those. And then when you get to this point, there's another 2, and you can loot them. So on the map, you do have a boss through here, which you can go and kill. Again, I don't bother because it takes a little bit of time to trigger that boss. So I skip her and then move on to these 2 guys, one of which is stealthed, and kill them. I then hook a left here, so we're now going up in this direction. As we get deeper into the dungeon, And at this point, you get a load of scorpions down here. Kill all of those, and beat the scorpions. Then come back the same way we came, by hook a right, and then kill these sort of creatures around here. Now, all of these mobs, whether it's the little scorpions or the bigger beasts, or as we go through, you can see some dwarfs in here. Kill all of these. They've all got the same amount of chance of dropping like the super rare items. So this is where we are at the moment. We're now going to hook back the same way which we just came. Round this way until we get to this point. So this is where I am at the moment. Kind of above this sort of big bubble here. I'm going to dive down into this. Kill some more of these scorpions. As soon as you hit a metal one, so you don't need to go chasing after them. Then loot the scorpions. We get our first green item of the dungeon. Then back out of the hole. Again, this is one of the movable beasts, so you might not be there. You might be somewhere else. These guys are fairly static. And there should be another one around the corner. You can loot all of those. You then have another little hole of scorpions here, which you can kill. They're not too difficult. And if you've got someone who can open the chests, this character can't, you can open this chest here as well. So I'll show you where I am at the moment. Just in this little sort of nook and cranny there. So I'm going to jump out of this. I'm going to hook a right and head up into this direction here. Again, you've got some of these sort of dwarven dwarves, rock masters you can kill. Then jump down into this area. And you can kill this pack down here. Loot them. So I'll show you where we are. In this little room here, which is called Temple Hall. I then dive into this room. You stand in the middle, kill all of them. You've got another chest over there. The chests aren't always locked, sometimes they're open, so just check them anyway. Even if you have got someone that can't open them. And then you've got another boss here, the Ancient Stonekeeper. Now I know, not from experience, but reading online, that this guy can actually drop some of the Uldaman rares, really expensive items. So let's kill him. And on this occasion we didn't get anything. And then we're going to hook a left up here and then carry on further into Uldaman. So we're kind of finished in Temple Hall and we're going to hook around in this direction here. Now as we go through these sort of twisty tunnels, again you're going to get more of these dwarven or earthen rock smashers, which we can loot. And we're going to come up through here and then we're going to drop down into this pit, which has got more of these scorpions in. Loot all of them. There's normally a bat or two in this area, so I kill that. So this is where I am at the moment. This is where the scorpions are. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come round into this direction up there, towards where that dwarf is. So you can come round here, take a left, take another left. You got two guys there, kill. Two guys up there, three guys down there, and then that's the boss. You loot the one in the middle. You should be able to get everything for these mobs. So they're all looted. They're all looted. They're all looted. Okay, just double check that one just in case he's slightly out of range, but so most of the time you can get him as well. I'm going to come around here into the stone vault. This is where some of these drop guys are. I'm going to loot these guys. So this is the direction. Just come up here. We're now going to go around and kill that little boss, Grimlock. Now these guys, again, you can see in the tooltip, you can get a load of the blues from there, including the skull plate braces, which I haven't collected yet. Kill these. And then the mini boss around here is literally just down here, Grimlock, whack him, and then him, and that's you done. So again, as a reminder, we're here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come back the same way we came, we've got no other choice, and then we're going to head over into this direction here. So hook a left, we can kind of see the trail of corpses, hook a right. Again, this is one of these sort of wandering mobs, so he may not be there when you come past. If he's not, you can him. Don't worry too much about it. There's loads of mobs, dozens of mobs in this game. Okay, so we've got a recipe there, designed golden hair, not worth a great deal of cash. Kill them. Now what we're going to do is, as I said, we're going to wind our way up this way towards the end of the dungeon. Kill those guys. Got another pack here. With a druid, you can just stand in the middle of most of these packs and just swipe or thrash once, and that's them. Get them. Okay, we've got 2 green items from that pack. Not worth a great deal. You'll see a common theme with the green items if you've not done this dungeon before. largely the green items are worth next to nothing. People farm this dungeon for the blues, really expensive blues, and therefore, I say people are farming all the time. The greens drop all the time. Okay, so we're now in this central room here, which is known as Hall of the Crafters. What you need to do when you get to this stage is kill these 4 statue guys, and to do that you have to click on the altar of the keepers. So just click on that, leave it for a few seconds. What will happen, it'll effectively just start working, and then you get your first one after you, followed by the second, the third, and finally the 4th. Once you've killed all 4, you can loot them, and these big doors open up here. So one straight ahead. Again, nice little pack of dwarfs and sort of stone guys over here you can kill. Then we sort of wind our way back through deeper into Uldaman itself. Another pack of mobs over here. So we can loot those. Deeper into the dungeon. We're nearly at the end now. There's a few, again, a nice little pack here. Probably take a couple of swipes. 1, 2, loot these. Okay, so we got our first Uldaman blue item drop, which is a Stonefall Shiv. You can see on the tooltip it's an Uldaman zone drop. It's worth just under 5,000, which is why it didn't appear on the screen as a loot appraiser alert. It's worth 4,988. On my server, it's currently going for 1,800. Now, getting blue drops from Uldaman isn't too difficult. If you run it 10 times, you're probably bound to get maybe 1 or 2 at minimum. So it shows that they do drop. It's just not one of the most expensive ones, and I've really, as you can see, I've already collected the appearance of that one already. It does share an appearance with something else called the Bone Dirk, so this will be something which I will potentially, probably send to my banker to go and sell. So we wandered our way down. We're now almost in the final room with the final boss, Arcadus. So what you do then is you click on the door, walk up to this one, which is called the Altar of Arcados. We click on that, and what we're waiting for this is Arcados' statue to come alive. After a few seconds again, he finally wakes up. He decides he's not keen on us being there and wants to attack us, so we can kill him. He drops some loot, generally the same sort of stuff. And then you have, right at the end of the dungeon, in this last room, a treasure chest called the Ancient Treasure Chest. Now you can get some decent items from there, and there are some things which is worth a lot of money. Let's see what we get from this. We get not a great deal. We get a citron, some pauldrons, and a leather helm, which aren't worth a great deal. Now at this stage, what I would do is dreamwalk my way out of this, and then dreamwalk back again, and you appear at one of the entrances to the dungeon. So that's it. If you're a druid, that's what you would do. But I'm going to show you the way out if you're not a druid, and you do get the opportunity to go and kill a few more extra mobs, but it does take a few minutes to get out there. Now we're not going to go back the same way we came. We're going to go a slightly different route and to kind of exit through a side door. So let's speed this through. Again, by the time you get down here, most of the mobs that you've killed will probably despawn, so you can't use them really as like a breadcrumb trail to find your way through. But all of the doors you can just click on and just exit. So this is a room where we just killed the first 4 sort of stone golems. We clicked on that altar in the centre. So from here we're going to hook a right, which is the same way which we came in. We were killing mobs coming in here, and we're then going to hook a left. We went and killed one of the little mini bosses up there. So where we hook a left on the map is just here, and where we're going to do is we're going to come all the way through here and then exit through that entrance there. Rather than going all the way back through there, we're just going to dive out of this. So what that looks like in game is we come over here, follow this down. Down here we're going to hook a left. You do find a few bats in this area, which of course we can kill. You can see they can drop items as well. There are those bats. That one didn't drop anything. You then get another small pack of these relic hunters who can drop stuff. You do get mobs up on here, and finally you have another sort of mini boss, the Obsidian Sentinel, and then you can get the stuff from him. And then when you click on the exit, that takes you through there. You can see this is the where the side entrance is. Then you hook a left, and then you're at the instance. Now, I didn't mention it in the previous video or the first video. It obviously it's very beneficial if you have some form of mount which has got a vendor on, so you've got some ability to sell some of the junk which you pick up. Now you can see this is exactly the same way which we came into the dungeon. So if I turn into my flying mount, there's fuse light up there. So this entrance is exactly where you come through. Now if you're a druid and you dream walk it out and then you dream walk back in again, you won't be at this entrance, you'll be at a different entrance. It doesn't make a great deal of difference, you can just go in again, and when you need to vendor your stuff, you just vendor it whilst you've dream walked. If you're another class, such as a hunter or warrior, etc., come outside here, which is fine, you know, you're not going to get attacked by anything. Get yourself mounted up on whatever mount you've got, and then you can sell all bits and pieces. So in terms of that run, it took 13 minutes. Obviously that's quite long, very slow, methodical, showing you where to go. 9,000 worth of loot picked up, of which the Stone Vault Shiv, let's see if I can hover on it, made up pretty much half of that, and then another load of junk here as well. So let's get rid of all of this. Okay, and then there's some of it, you can see some of this I haven't actually set as scrap before. The design golden hair is worth next to nothing. In fact, I dare say most of this is worth next to nothing. I'll keep the blue item. I'll keep the cloth for now because I'm still sending that to my tailor. And that's it. You do find that you probably need to come out and do a vendor at least every 2 or 3 runs, because otherwise you're going to be awash with stuff. You also got the option of destroying the trash if you want to do that and just maybe free up another run. But generally speaking, you need to just come out and get rid of all that stuff, because you kill quite a few bosses as you go through the dungeon. Each one of those is going to drop at least 2 soulbound items, so that's a pain to get rid of. So it's just easier to just come out and clear all of this. Okay, so that's the first run done. Obviously it doesn't really take 15 minutes, it's going to be a lot quicker than this. What I'm going to go and do now is I'm going to run this another 9 times to make the 10 runs up for this instance, and then I'm going to come back with any highlights. Fingers crossed, touch wood, that there's going to be some highlights, and if not, I'll show you what I've got in the bag after 10 runs and see how many of the dungeon specific blues there are. Before I do that though, what I am going to do is just go into the dungeon again, and I'm going to annotate exactly what I do need, because obviously I don't need all of those things. So let's reset the instances. Run the back through, then I can actually just show you exactly what I'm after, because obviously I don't need 23 items. Okay, so there we be. That's the remaining. Where are we? Let's see if we can close this down a little bit. They're the remaining items which I need from Uldaman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is exactly what it is on my loot deck. So I'm going to shoot off and run around this now, and I shall see you in a second. Okay, so there's another blue. We picked up the Shoveler. So the Shoveler has got a value of 22,391 across the EU, and it's currently going for 40,000 on my realm at the moment. You can see I've sold 2 of them previously, both of them very, very cheap, in the sort of 1,000 mark, but obviously the price is being jacked up quite a bit. Let's show you what it looks like. Can I show you what it looks like? This is why people want it, because it looks, as it says, like a shovel. So this is where I've just picked this up for anyone particularly interested. Coming through into the Stone Vault, I think it was off this pack which is over here before we get to Grimlock, and this was run number 3. So since I've done the introduction slow run, done 1 run since then, this is the one after that. So far not too bad. Let's carry on. Okay, so that's another blue. The Unearthed Bands. So that was on the 6th run, right near the start. Just in the Hall of the Keepers. Now this is one of the poorer ones, you know, truth be told. I've sold these before for just under 200 gold. It's currently going for 2,200 on my realm, within a rough average of 2,000. But again, it's one of the Uldaman specific blues, so at least for this first occasion, I'll show you I've actually got it. Okay, let's crack on. Oh, there we go. So we have got our first proper loot deck item, the annealed blade. I completely made a mess of killing those mobs, but I've picked one up. So let's have a look at it, as it's the first one I've got in the series. So it's one of the 9 I need, which is great. It is the annealed blade, 6 on my auction house, going for 11,000, with a region market value average of just under 13,000. So by no stretch of imagination is it one of the most expensive ones. In fact, it's one of the 2 of the cheaper ones left that I need to pick up, but it's one less than I didn't have already. So good news, and hopefully in the last 3 runs I think I've got left, might be able to find another. Okay, so that's the 10 runs done. It took me a grand total of 1 hour 16 to get all 10 done, the first one being a little bit longer. So on average, I'm probably looking somewhere in the 6 to 7 minute mark for the rest of the runs. And obviously that included stopping, vending some of the gear. A lot of the gear I'm picking up from this dungeon. I haven't been in this dungeon many times with this character before, so I'm having to select as a scrap. So it's only going to get a little bit quicker as time goes on. So you've seen the highlights. I finished after the 10 runs with the 4 Uldaman blues. The first one, of course, being the Stone Vault Shiv, which I got on the first run. I picked up the Shoveler, I think it was on the 3rd run. Both of those appearances I've already had before. Another one of the cheaper ones in the dungeon was the Unearthed Bands, which I picked up, which is, again, not really worth a great deal of cash. But by far the best item I picked up for me personally, although not in terms of value, was the annealed blade, which I haven't collected yet. So I'm going to send that over to probably my Death Knight, who can equip this and learn that appearance. And that is the first one on that chart of the loot deck, which I've got. So instead of 52, down 51, which is absolutely fantastic. And the fact I managed to pick up one of the Uldaman blues, which I needed in the first 10 runs, is beyond belief. Now, most of the greens are completely out of garbage. I have kept 4 of them, although I'm probably not going to sell any of them. We've got the Conjurer's Sphere there, which is worth about 2,500. A Black Forge Cape, just over 3,000. And 2 shields, the Embossed Plate Shield and the Combat Shield, again, both of them under 5,000 gold. So you can see, in terms of the greens, you are not going to be making a great deal of cash from any of the greens, just because, as I mentioned previously, so many people run this dungeon that the greens are going to be cheap as chips. If you want to keep them and sell them, by all means, hopefully you have some success, but I'm not going to sort of tie up my bags and my time listing and relisting those. And finally, 3 lock boxes, which will be sent to my rogue, which will be opened at a later date. Oh, as well as some tailoring stuff. So for now, although it's not going to continue forever, I'm still keeping the silk cloth, I'm keeping the mage weave cloth, and I'm keeping the tailoring recipes. I've got there the pattern earthen silk belt. These aren't worth anything, but I dare say my new tailor, because I'm shifting around some of my professions, probably doesn't know these ones yet. It's a spider belt and the white bandit mask, so she can take these on board. After a while, maybe once I've got enough sort of silk and mage weave cloth, then I'll probably start vending that as well. But all in all, a very good start, better than I could have hoped for in terms of the Uldaman runs, which this will be the first of plenty. Getting the anneal blade was really, really good, and with the price of a shoveler as well on my server being up to 40,000, hopefully I'll get a good price for all of this. I'm going to try and sell all of these blues, even if I have to sell these, these cheaper ones, say 500, 1,000 gold. I'll get them shifted, and then I'll let you know what I got from them. So until next time, thanks for watching again, and goodbye.